movie. Hashtag the smoke. That's my new movie.
And welcome to the Dirty South, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I'm going to be bringing to the channel right now El Presidente of the community. I really appreciate him coming on. Mangini, welcome to the channel, brother.
Hey, Scott. Glad to be on again.
Yep. I don't know if I've ever asked you this before, but do you collect only sports memorabilia?
Do I collect non-sports cards?
Yeah, or anything like, I don't know, rappers. I don't know, twist ties. I like to ask everybody. Yeah, I like to ask anybody because, like, I collect Star Wars and video games. I talked to Carlos, does movies. Victor does magazines. It just seems like, as a collector, which we'll get into, it seems like we all have that collecting gene in us that expands outside of what we love the most is cards or sports memorabilia. And I don't know if I ever asked you that before, and I like to ask everybody. He's the king of rappers. So I always like just asking everybody that, just to see what else their interests are or anything.
Yeah, I'm mostly cards. I don't really collect a lot of other things. I have a library filled with books. Some of them are older. Dabble in that, but not a ton.
Yeah.
I collect nunchucks. I like to collect those.
I know you like to play with them.
But that's about it. I mean, it's really just cards for me.
Yeah. I do like my books too. I have my history. I'm a history connoisseur. I love to take.
Yeah, me too. Me too. That's what I always loved history, and I grew up a baseball fanatic, and cards. This hobby allows me to merge both of those, really.
Right. Yes, very much so. It's a lot of overlap. I'm actually reading a book on how baseball started, like not the traditional Doubleday way, but the actual real way. It's a really good book, fascinating. Nobody really knows how it exactly started, but
that's a fascinating thing. Nobody knows for sure. Some people speculate it started from rounders. I don't really think that's the case. And it started apparently a lot earlier than people think, because I don't know if you're aware of this, but they had uncovered this newspaper article from something like 1792 in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, where they were banning people playing baseball at night.
Yeah, that 1700s is like late 1700s is earliest. Yeah. And even in this book, we're talking about that. And they didn't know really, they didn't have a name. It's basically grown men made up a game to hang out on the weekends without their wives.
Yeah.
and have a big meal. And that's what they did. It was different police and firefighters and cooks and butchers. Everybody had their own teams. Not everyone, but the ones that participated. And it grew from there. And it's neat how it branched out. And the railroad, you could tell how the railroad helped make it grow.
And companies had teams. And
yes.
A fascinating history. Now, when we get into the card world, I mean, that's what makes baseball cards king, is their long history.
Yes.
It doesn't necessarily have to do with the sport itself. I mean, many people watch more football than baseball, but football cards, basketball cards don't have that long history. Boxing cards have a long history, golf cards to some extent, and even hockey has more than, basketball and football.
Right. And non-sport.
Non-sport for sure. Yeah.
Making cards of birds and world leaders and everything.
Oh, it's endless if you delve into that.
Yes,
it's never ending.
Yes,
Although,
and
although
that's
when you
fascinating to me.
yeah, me too. And when you delve into there's a term used in England for card collecting because it was so popular back at that time.
Right.
Non-sports card collecting. I forget the term. There's actually a term for it.
I'm sure because I'm sure that's where gluing it into your family albums or things like that. Because that's why there's so much paper loss on those old school.
Yeah, and what else did you have to do back then after you got done working the farms and stuff?
Right. Get around the fireplace and read the nightly, scripture.
Although before electricity, I'm surprised there weren't more fires for card collectors because you had to go by candlelight.
Right.
And see your cards at night.
And it, even you mentioned it before or on the video, you standing there and, everybody knows the story of the tobacco houses and the cards getting thrown out the door and, the people, the gentleman in there didn't care and the kids were outside picking up the cards. It's a fascinating story. And that's why baseball is America's pastime. Because it correlates with what goes on in the world.
That's why I think the e-cards, the caramel and candy cards, that's why I think they're so much harder to find in great condition. Like the T206s are pretty easy to find, and some of the tobacco products, because they were sold to adults, many of which probably threw them in a drawer or something, where the candy cards, kids got them directly and played with them and so forth.
Right. That's a good point. They didn't get thrown in a drawer or in a book somewhere and get put up on a shelf.
Yeah, and if there were adults collecting them, which I'm sure there were always some adults collecting. They were taking care of them better than kids were.
Yeah. That's a great point. Yeah, that's fascinating with the history thing. It seems like a lot of people, especially that really love the vintage side, jump into that history portion because it just correlates so well. I like to read the books for the history, and then I learn about certain players, especially catchers, because I love catchers. and turning. That's why started getting campy. I wanted to show you. I'm glad Rick is on because you're the two guys I like to show at the National. I picked this up on Saturday.
Oh, nice!
At a local card show. Let me see if I can do this.
I need to get one of those.
Put myself in the wrong spot. Here we go. Yeah, so I've been big on Yogi right now. Yogi, Campy, just trying to get the bigger historical guys.
Yeah, all the great catchers were Italian. Campanella,
Piazza,
Ernie Lombardi.
Rally. Oh, wait a minute.
Ernie Lombardi, Manny Sanguin, Johnny Benchio,
Gary Carteret.
Cartier, I think he was French.
Yes.
What a good catcher he was, man.
Yeah,
back when you could block the plate.
Yes.
Nobody did it better.
What's up? So let me just run through some names. I saw Rick. Hi, Rick. Brian. We got Double D on here. Jeff, Ziggy, Clay, Zach, Hitman. What's up, fellas? How y'all doing tonight? I will be paying attention. If you got something to add, please add it. Yes, we will be talking about some things tonight, but it's not going to get heated. It's going to be a nice conversation between two adults, so I would expect adults to be on the side as well. And be respectful. And this shouldn't get out of. It's not going to get angry. It's no way. I don't know what people are thinking, but because, and we'll get into it in a minute. This is the part I like. This is the thing I love talking about. Collecting, period. The hobby, any type of things, passion, and you can hear the passion here going on. And I always talk about a guy at work. I don't care about cars, but when he talks about it, I listen because you can't help. He draws you in with his passion.
Yeah, some people are like that when they have a real passion for whatever it is.
Right.
They draw you in. I have people that comment on my channel that they don't collect baseball cards, never did, but they still enjoy listening about
Well,
it.
that's what I was going to say. You have one of those storytelling, the video you did today, talking about players and um, you know, the history of some of them, the history of the cards, what they look like, why Topps, because it was interesting. Like when they got into the 70s and stuff, they started using the same, thing for different sports and basketball whenever they felt like making a basketball set. But now I'm interested to see what Topps does when they come out with football and basketball now. Are they going to use separate backgrounds? I know, I'm sure even you want to see an interest in what Topps does.
Yeah, of course.
Forward, because you can't look backwards without, a little bit of looking forward. So, I mean, I know with that, and it's coming really, really soon. Whenever they can get the legal drama done, I think I think basketball should be this year and football in 2 years. I really can't remember. Football this year, basketball. I don't really care. When it comes, and I'll be interested to see it. But so when you are looking at cards, because you made up a point, where you just like to collect, and as you can see around me, I have the same issues, and I think. Go ahead, John.
I was just going to say we all love to collect, man.
Right, and I really think
that's why we're all here.
Right, and that's so. Mike O says, "Listen, first off, we're crazy because we collect the way we collect. Then we make videos, we watch videos, we talk about it. We're in group chats talking about it. I think, we're not the average collectors, the guys that are on here. And I think that's where, if someone, not the clash, but some of the discussion comes from. And I love a good discussion. When you made your video last week, it made me sit there and pause and think, where does my collecting come from? Which I know where it comes from, but it makes you reflect.
Well, for me, anytime I make a video, if I can get somebody pondering, if I get you thinking,
Mm-hmm.
I think that that's truly what it's about, because I enjoy when somebody gets me thinking. Oftentimes, their point of view is so different than mine, or something I never thought of before, and it's thought provoking. Whether you end up agreeing or disagreeing, it doesn't matter. It's just thought provoking. I'm kind of into philosophy a little bit, and I enjoy that stuff. I enjoy pondering. And the other thing I wanted to say was, can you imagine when we were growing up? Now, I only had 3 channels on my TV. I had 2 others that barely came in. They would be all fuzzy, but basically 3. And I had to watch whatever was on TV. Can you imagine growing up in an era, being such an avid card collector and fanatic, where you had 24/7 sports card content to watch, to listen, all kind of different topics? I mean, how wonderful would that have been? And that's what we have today with YouTube. And even now we have Carded, the TV show, and we have the Card Life. So you have a little bit of that on TV, more so than before, and the King of Collectibles, shows like that. But man, YouTube gives us 24/7 content of whatever we're into, whatever we want to watch.
Yeah.
And we all can pick and choose what we watch, what we don't watch.
And for me, me and my dad, me and my dad do a video every week. We did our thing. We were talking about how right now it's just crazy sports. If you're a fan of sports,
it sure is.
Right now is just, I watched my Wahoos football yesterday, Virginia Tech today. There was Ohio State, Texas, some big college football. We haven't even got to the pro game yet. I'm watching Atlanta and the Phillies off to the side here. I watch my Mets, just nonstop sports for 4 days, for this Labor Day weekend. And it's just, nuts.
And that's even changed, from when I was young, because
You got one game.
you didn't get a lot of national games, maybe on Saturday, Monday Night Football, Monday Night Baseball, and your local games, if they weren't sold out and they were playing at home, you had to listen to them on the radio.
Yeah.
I was lucky to get to watch every single Steeler game because they were always sold out.
Right.
But I couldn't watch any home games for the Pirates, none, unless I went to the game because they were not televised.
Yeah.
And now, you get MLB package. You could get every game all time. You could rewatch them. You can watch highlights if you don't want to sit through the whole game. It's just unbelievable. It's a whole new world.
Yeah, I remember getting my first, or my family. We were lucky. My dad got cable. We got cable pretty early, and we had WDCA out of Baltimore. So we had Baltimore games.
Yeah.
So I got to see a lot of Orioles in that early 80s Cal Ripken era. I loved the Orioles, but there was a little show on Saturday morning called The Baseball Bunch.
Yeah.
I was already a Johnny Bench fan, and a guy from another country that played baseball in another country, which kind of confused me as a preteen.
Sadaharuo.
No, it was Gary Carter playing in Montreal. I didn't understand that Montreal in Canada was another country. And that was the day that Gary Carter became my favorite player. And I even wanted to grow my hair. And I my mom said absolutely not. But I made sure my wristbands, my back, my everything was perfect, like Gary Carter. My dad said he's the pretty boy of the league. So when I played, I had to have everything just perfect. And that's something. Let's get into some of what we're going to talk about. The idolization. I that was about the closest, but I don't think I ever idolized Gary Carter. I respected and loved how he played. Once I learned about him, it opened up the game for me. I idolized my dad. I followed him around, walk like him, talk like him, love my sports like him, and try to be as generous to everybody as I can. But because you said that, and I think because right now I don't idolize any player. I'm a huge fan of them, and you're not the first person I heard, and not in your group, tell me this. You're the second. Use the same words. I don't idolize 20-year-olds. And you didn't say it in a begrudgingly way. It just kind of catches you off guard as an adult male. And you're like, wait a minute, I don't idolize 20-year-olds either. I just collect them. Do you want to clarify what you mean by that?
Well, sometimes people will take a word and try to make it so specific, or they think it has a different definition than it does.
Right.
What I used a word, and some people were pushing back, and I said, well, I'm just using the dictionary version of the word.
It was probably me.
If it means something else to you, that's fine. That's like the modern card hobby. Everybody has a different rule for what a rookie card is, what an oddball card is, this and that. So if you want to make up your own definitions, that's fine. So I don't want to get too wrapped up in that word specifically. What I was saying is, when I was growing up, I looked up to Willie Stargell, watching him like an idol, or maybe there's a better word for it. Or Roberto Clemente was like a god in Pittsburgh and Puerto Rico. I didn't know him as a player. He predated me a little bit, so I idolized him. I put him on a pedestal. And that's kind of what I was talking about. I don't think that as an adult, you look up to a 19 or 23-year-old, 24-year-old, the same way you would look up to, I would look up to Willie Stargell as a little kid. Mm-hmm. And that's all I meant by that.
Yeah. Yeah, because for me, I like what they do in the field. I don't have any idea what they do off the field. And I remind people that. Be careful who you do idolize. I mean,
idolize might be too strong of a word. Yeah. It might not be the right word. I don't know. I can't even think of another synonym right now that would that would fit.
Because the reason why I bring that up is because you have to remember in this picture how old is Yogi Berra, right?
Have somebody look up the definition of idolize.
The play, I'm not really worried about it. The player because it's set off in my group chat. Everybody has group chats now. You know that.
Yeah.
That conversation. So, and the big thing was like these players that are on these cards, they're forever 20-something years old. Really.
Yeah, when you're a kid, though, they don't look it. Like, they look so old sometimes.
Well, they
when
live,
you're a kid.
live a different life.
You know what I mean? And then now I look back on them and I'm like, wow, look how young Ernie Banks was in this photo or whatever.
Right.
But when you're a little kid, they're full-fledged adults, you know?
Right. Yeah. And
it's like when I was in junior high or grade school, I'm looking up to the quarterback on the high school team.
Right.
You know, I don't look up to the quarterback on the high school team at the age I am the same way that I did then.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I've always said I collect as an extension of my fandom. That's where me and you are. You talk about nostalgia. I have some nostalgia. More of my nostalgia is when I talk about Star Wars, Batman, and video games, or when you heard me talk about the baseball bunch and Gary Carter. So I do have, see it right here.
I had a few streams of consciousness on that video. You know, the thing is we talk about the hobby. We have YouTube channels. You got to talk about something. And I talk about what's on my mind.
Right.
You know, in that video, I know you got a little triggered by it, but I didn't say anything bad about anybody.
No,
I didn't bitch or complain.
Yes.
It wasn't a negative. It was, the thing is there is this divide, whether you like it or not, of modern versus vintage. It exists.
That's
and
what I wanted to work
we
my
live
way
in the
to.
Carolinas. And so if a hurricane's coming, you could say, oh, well, that's negative. I'm going to turn off the news so I don't see it coming. But guess what? It's still freaking coming.
Right.
Whether you want to look at it or not, it's still coming. And
my
video was intended to be to say this is ridiculous. Like, there's no reason for this divide. Let's bridge this thing. What I was trying to do was to explain why some vintage guys, you know, aren't into the modern hobby or whatever, or modern cards. I was just trying to explain why that is.
Right.
I wasn't saying I agree with it. I was just trying to explain where everybody was coming from.
I got you on that. My whole thing was okay, so we jumped to that.
Let's just get it out of the way.
Right. Was your title clickbait?
Yeah. I mean, I wanted to talk about it, but
I know you're not above that.
I said, let's get it on. Like, yeah. So, you know, in retrospect, it was clickbait. I was having a little fun because everybody's at odds, and I wanted it to appear that way in a joking way. And then when you watch the video, we're not, you know, it's not about that really.
Right.
It's more about let's come together. Like, this is ridiculous. And I made the point that most of the vintage collectors I know collect modern cards. This is the silliness of this. See, modern collectors who see us older vintage guys think that we don't, because we don't necessarily show them all the time. I can give you a list right now and spend 20 minutes giving you a list of every YouTube channel that collects both. When I was at the National in Cleveland last year, I stayed with 12 other guys. 12 of us collected modern and vintage. 12 of the 13. Everybody that came to visit the house, I think, collected both. You know, Snoop came over. Aaron AD's collection came over. They're huge patch, you know, modern patch collectors. Yeah. And you have Shoebox Legends, who probably has more new than old. You have Lou Rock. Hell, even Dave Blue Jacket 66. He traded a Sport King Babe Ruth and a Mickey Mantle for like the second most popular Pokemon card for his son. So to say, you know, for people to say that because we're vintage collectors, we're not modern collectors. Double D's on here. He collects tons of modern. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. I have tons of modern. I was just going through 5 boxes out there of modern cards, like ultra modern or, you know, the late 2000s.
I don't hear that being really said though, John. I really, that's the point. I hear it coming back the other way. I hear the guys that want to talk just vintage. But here's the thing: is y'all only talk vintage, right? You don't ever express your modern, and you a lot of times a lot of the guys want to talk down on the modern collector, call them flippers, not in a nice way, but just as a very negative connotation of just being a seller. When we know right now, vintage cards are really big on the flipping side of things.
Yeah,
they're driving up the prices of vintage cards.
I think I've heard you talk badly about flippers. No,
I do not, because I am a flipper.
I thought I've heard you in the past.
I don't like the fact that the flippers flip to the ones that do that damn flip to the flip to the flip. That's where the connotation. But now we've used it for everything. So now my
it's become a buzzword. There's no doubt about it.
My thought of what a flipper is has definitely changed from what it was 3 years ago, when you did hear me talk.
Yeah.
When you couldn't buy a box in retail, and right now, it is not the flipping world. It is the corporate America that's making it tough on modern collectors.
Yeah.
Because now they're taking what happened during the COVID with the breakers and everything, and them and breakers are working hand in hand to drive up prices of wax, and people like me can't get an affordable box, and that's why I've turned to retail. I love retail, and I think, if anybody's watching, I really do think Fanatics, because of that, has made the retail stuff a little bit better to buy. Before, during COVID, they made it less with less stuff in it, but jacked up the price. Price hasn't gone down, but it seems like there's a little bit better stuff in it. But to make it at least fun, I look at this as an entertainment for me. This is no different than going to the movies or watching a ball game for me. But I do collecting.
Oh, yeah.
The hobby. When I open up a box, it's that entertainment. But if I go to a movie,
I agree with you. Yeah,
right.
Because
I think you do. I think
you're not getting your money back if you go to a movie.
Right. But your value from it is if that movie's good, right? You go to it and you walk out and you're like, man, I might never watch a movie directed by that guy again, right? Or written.
Yeah, I've made the same point you've made. You're making is that when I buy cards, I buy them like any luxury item. If I go on vacation, I don't expect to get that money back. Right. If I buy a suit, I don't expect to get that money. A car, and that's just my thinking. I'm not saying everybody should do that, but I don't know if you watch my stuff, but I don't talk bad about flippers.
No, you don't. That's what caught me off guard. You don't talk bad.
I didn't in that video either.
In modern, no, but your title was very misleading.
You're getting wrapped up in just the title.
No, I got wrapped up too because you did what you use certain terms like the idolizing and the modern stuff. And
oh man, we can't get wrapped up in one word that may or may not be the perfect word to use.
I know, and also, and it didn't really trigger me. My whole thing is you're not the first one that has used the same type of thing. Because I was ready for the National to be like West Side Story, where the moderns and the vintage will break up to each side. We join in the middle and start a fight. I'm going to stay in the middle because I collect everything.
Nah, we're going to have a kumbaya moment, man.
But I think that right now we just talked about our similarities between all collectors, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
we're in agreement on this,
right?
And when I was talking about. I started to talk about nostalgia for a minute because I hear people who don't collect vintage. And I won't call them modern collectors, just people who don't collect vintage will make comments. Oh, it's the old guys who watch those guys play. I didn't watch them play. They just do it out of nostalgia because they opened those packs as a kid. And I was making the point that that sometimes that's true, but oftentimes it's not. When I was 9 or 10 or 12 and going to my flea market, I was buying every vintage card I could get my hands on. There was no nostalgia there for me. I was 12. I didn't see those guys play. I didn't have those cards when I was young. You see somebody like Staven Sports Cards or Cracker Jack cards. These are young guys. They collect vintage. There's no nostalgia there for them.
Yeah, but I think there is this...
But people will twist that nostalgia word again. That's the word that I said. Yeah. I'm just going by the dictionary.
No,
I'm with because you. It says typically you experienced it. Typically, you experienced it. Well, I didn't experience Babe Ruth, but I still collect his stuff.
Right.
So if I go by the definition of nostalgia, I don't, I can be nostalgic for cards, and I can be nostalgic for vintage cards that I bought as a kid.
Right.
But I'm just saying, like, that's not the only reason people collect vintage cards. Flippers are into them now. Investors are into them now. It's just the way it is. So that's the only point I was making. Sure, a lot of it's nostalgia.
And I agree with, because that's why I made a point. I collect vintage. I have a pretty nice, I believe, a nice vintage collection of my own right now.
Yeah.
And I collected some. I didn't know it when I was a kid. I just called them cards. But I was collecting 60s cards because my dad would sit there and tell me about how good a ball player somebody was.
Yeah.
Or 50s cards, right?
Yeah.
So that's how me and my dad, that 90%, I grew up as a baseball kid. We thought that I would be playing on in the summer, but things didn't work out. I like to eat. So it didn't work out. But the other part was to it, John, was the whole, not the whole, but the little part where, let me get my thought back.
You need to join Rick and mine's Get Off My Lawn segment.
I like to get up because the investor term still, that's a trigger word for me in this whole thing, because I don't, if you're going to invest, buy property, buy stocks, buy anything, don't buy baseball cards.
Well, I have to disagree with you. They have become an asset class. Now, I don't invest in them.
Right.
I invest in traditional investments. So I don't consider myself an investment. But when you see cards selling for $1,400,000, $12 million, are they not an asset class now?
I don't know what they bought it at. So this guy that just bought the logo card of Jordan this past week for more than I would make in my lifetime. I don't know what his return on that was. What's he expecting? What's your typical return on an investment?
Well, he's planning, according to him, he said he might not even sell it. It might not sell in his lifetime. He bought it with, I heard him say 2 other guys.
Right.
That's what I heard him say. 3 guys bought it together as an investment, but they bought that the way you would buy a Picasso or a rare coin. If you watch the movie The Accountant, he would take payment in all different forms. He had a Pollock painting. He opened a drawer, and there were Babe Ruth and Christy Mathewson baseball cards in there. There were coins in there. There were bills. There are a bunch of different things that you can speculate on. Now, see, to me, an investment is something that pays you. Like if I have a rental property, that's an investment. It pays me every month. Mm-hmm. But if I have a house, that's a liability because I have to pay every month. Mm-hmm. So if I own a dividend-paying stock, that's an investment. If I own a $2 stock, I think might be the next Palantir, that's a speculation. That's the way I look at my investments. So until baseball cards start paying me dividends, I don't look at them as an investment.
That's
but they are speculative. They are a speculative investment.
Right, and I could get with that, but when people, I don't know, because I do know. It's hard for me to get my thoughts right now, but I got about 100 of them going at one time, and the 90s was a hell of a decade. The whole speculative thing is fine, but let's be honest. The same group that says that's okay with the high-end cards like that are the same ones that get mad when somebody buys the Vlad Guerrero Jr. doing the same thing.
Who gets mad?
Huh?
I don't understand. Who gets mad?
So if somebody speculates that Vlad Guerrero Jr. is going to have a great career, what is the real difference that $1 million card is going to go up in value? Because my thought process,
there is no difference.
Right.
I'm not.
So I feel like the same people that think that's okay get mad when the other is not okay.
Right? I don't know. I don't get mad about those things.
Right.
I'm not quite sure where you're coming from.
I said some people. I didn't say you.
Okay.
But here's my thing, because you made a video kind of broadly that the I'm sorry, you made a video that was we made it that it was clickbait, and then you went in and you did.
Well, it's not clickbait. I had something important to say, and I think
you did.
that
I think
if my voice can help build a divide between with this stupid narrative,
right.
and the narrative does exist, whether you want to ignore it or not, it exists. If I can help build that and explain things, I don't understand why that's a bad thing. I don't understand why you're getting this triggered over a title, and more so, with all due respect, if that title pissed you off so much, why the hell did you watch it? Because when I see a title that I know is going to trigger me, I move on. I don't even watch it. Like you do grading reveals. I freaking hate grading reveal videos. So I watch your videos, but if it's a grading reveal, I skip it. And then that way I'm not triggered, because it's a subject that I don't want to watch.
The reason why is because it shocked me that you did a video with that title, right? And then you didn't after I'm sorry.
Well, I did.
Midlife Cars
not
did
totally
the same video.
No,
it's
different. Not total clickbait. I was talking about modern versus vintage, because that's
to me
that tension exists on both sides.
Right. I don't think it is. That's what I think. It's made up on one side views the other side. I haven't yet to hear this people getting mad that do mostly modern about people buying vintage.
You must be smoking crack. One guy actually said on air that he wishes we would all die off so that he could have the hobby to himself. Well, but you're smoking crack if you don't think that there are modern collectors that say horrible things about us. They call us old, and they call us boomers, and they say horrible things about us.
Well, they're just words, John. You just told me you get triggered.
You just said that it doesn't exist on the modern side. It's only the vintage guys that look down on modern. That's not true at all. That's not true at all.
It can't. Well, I'm not going to make a blanket. I try not to make blanket statements, because you're always going to have assholes. Point blank. You're always going to have people that want to moderate everything and gatekeep and think what they do is the way to do things. There's nothing that you can do to stop that.
Yeah, that's human nature. People think that it should, and a lot of us older people, I'm not one of them, but a lot of older collectors think it should be the way it was when they were growing up and collecting. Well, those days are long gone.
Let me tell you,
I had a neighbor, and they were so poor that when I would go to their house, if it was dinner time, they would give me bread and butter. That's how poor they were. And my friend collected baseball cards with me. He still had enough money to buy a pack of baseball cards. Those days are gone. Young poor kids cannot collect baseball cards today.
Right.
And a lot of people think they should be able to, but the reality is they can't.
Well, I've been pushing for this for about 2 years now, that I would love, if they want to make a true heritage set, make a true heritage set. Don't put any inserts, colors, numbers. Do a set from 1 through 66, and that's it. 40 through 440 to whatever is your all-star team from the year before, and the way it used to be. I know nobody will buy it, but I would. Yeah. Just because that's the way I'm used to collecting.
A lot of people, I think a lot of collectors, and people tell me I'm wrong on this too. Nobody sets collects, but a lot of collectors do set collect, or would like to, because that's the collecting gene. When you collect, a lot of us are completists, and you want to collect the whole set. Now, in the modern hobby, with the way they manufacture the cards, it's impossible now. I mean, it's not exciting to collect a base set of tops, Series 1. And you could buy the whole box, so it's not a fun chase. Yeah. And you asked me earlier, I don't show that many I don't show any modern cards, I think you said. I do show modern cards. I just don't know anything about them, Scott. They make 5 million a year, 120 different sets. I can't follow it, man. I'm oblivious to it. I buy singles that I like, but I honestly cannot, on my channel, say anything about them because I don't know. I watch Dylan Double D to learn. I watch Shoebox Legends, and And through them, I learned a little bit. I never even knew that they numbered the Mickey Mantle card number 7. I didn't even know that much. But all these different parallels, I have to ask people what they're called. So when I show a refractor, I mean, I don't know if it's a blue wave or if it's this or if it's that. And I try to stay in my lane with my knowledge. You know, after COVID, everybody wanted to get out of their lane with their knowledge and pretend like they knew a lot more than they did. I'm the opposite. I don't want to talk about anything. I don't know what I'm talking about. And so even though I have all these cards, I don't know what to say about them. I'm not an expert on them at all. Many times when I show them, I'm asking my audience what they are. I just buy singles. I'm priced out of boxes. So, you know, I bought some boxes earlier in the year. Those are the last boxes I may ever buy. I might buy some blasters here or there. But, you know, the thing is everything's moving to breaking, and that's where you have to go if you want to break any fun big boxes to get cool stuff. And it's not just about pulling something to sell it. It's about getting a cool pull. Yeah, you know, we used to, in the early 2000s, I used to get all kind of great pulls. Jackie Robinson jersey card, Honus Wagner bat card, Clemente jersey card, you know, Mantle jersey. I pulled up all kind of stuff. Today, I get nothing. You get nothing unless you buy the real expensive products. And that's kind of the paradox, is you can't do it yourself anymore. They're forcing you to go to the breakers to get those kinds of products. And like I said earlier with my poor neighbor, those people ain't buying, you know, cards. They're forced to go into breaks. That's the only way they're going to get them, or repacks. That's the only way they're going to get anything these days.
Well, I'm glad that you last week popped on, said you wanted to come on. I know you're easy to get along with, and well, with me you are. I don't know if you're. I mean, we're all could be.
I'm easy to get along with, man.
Yeah, I mean, because I know next time we see each other, we're gonna smile, shake hands, and want to know what we're doing.
I feel bad that you're triggered. I really do.
I'm not triggered. I mean, it's unexpected. That's the thing is, like, I'm not. The word trigger, like, I did not. My whole thing was with the holy fuck until I saw your was I wanted to go into it. We just had this discussion before the national with midlife cards. At least you put verses and didn't put like what I forget the term he used. And because I feel like that's not helping the divide. That's creating more of a divide. And
what, the title?
Yeah, when
I mean, you have to put a title that people understand what you're about to talk about and want to click on it.
So how many people do you think saw the title and said, "Oh, here we go again," and were not like me and watched it?
Well, then they moved on or disliked it or whatever. They have, that's their prerogative. But I mean, you're getting triggered over a title, and what I'm saying is, in what I said in the video, I thought was accurate, thought-provoking, my opinion, and trying to help build any divide that may be there. Like I said, I didn't say a bad thing about anybody, any class of people. I didn't. It wasn't negative in any way. I didn't think.
Yeah, I agree that you in the video you had some good points. And like I said, I wanted you to come on because that way
I didn't make a BJ face. Come on.
No, and you won't see that.
I don't even have a thumbnail. I don't even use thumbnails.
I've gotten AI is so easy now where I can make funny thumbnails without the beat. I think that's funny. The floating head crap and all that stuff. You're not going to see that on this channel. I am 100 about. Look, before this community, I was still collecting like it was 1980s because I didn't have anybody else. It was me.
Me too. So
I bought stuff like it was the 80s, buying boxes, opening them, didn't have a clue that you could just focus in on one. I didn't know that was a thing.
But that was a blast, wasn't it?
Yes.
Every time you went to Walmart, there was all kind of boxes you could buy, or Target, and that all went away.
Well, luckily around here, it's gotten better.
Has it?
Yes. I could buy a Chrome if I want it at any time. I'm telling people, if you're looking for stuff, try your local GameStop. They have, if you want to buy a retail box, nobody even thinks about there.
I would go, after the COVID boom, I would go and there would be like one box of hockey MVP and before Caitlin Clark, all kind of boxes of the WNBA. And that's all I could buy. Literally, that was all that was there.
Yeah.
Everything else was gone the day it hit the shelf.
Wesker Greff's got me into the WNBA, so he's the influence.
Yeah, he's a big fan.
Yeah, so that's all. That's last week wasn't just that. It was the thing about the, because you want the first person to talk, and I just wanted to hear your, because I was glad you wanted to come on, because I'd rather hear straight from you than like,
there's no. I'm always happy to hash these things out. I mean, it's just a video. It's just my thoughts. I don't try to.
It don't matter what you
get under anybody's skin, other than Double D. I bust his chops. My man Rick, I bust his chops. Lou Rock sometimes.
We're collecting dudes on. It don't matter what year it is. It's dudes on cards, man. So it can't be that serious. The money could be serious, but
yeah. But there's nobody more passionate about the hobby than me.
Yeah, I agree. I love it. And that to me, I love the hobby.
I should say collecting. I shouldn't say the hobby. I don't always like the hobby. Well, there are many things in the modern hobby I do not like, but I don't make videos.
Here's another point I want to make to everyone.
Wait, say that again?
This is a point I wanted to also make tonight to everyone. I've never said this once. I've kind of always kept it to myself. It doesn't matter what you're collecting. If you have a graded card in your collection, you're a modern collector.
Huh.
Ponder that.
Interesting point.
Just ponder that for a moment.
There are no pre-war slabs.
That's right. I don't know.
I never heard that one before.
Yes, I've never heard it said, and I kind of kept it to myself for a while, and I thought this would be a good week because I heard because I was watching Rick and them talk a couple of weeks ago on watching the end of the I can't remember which auction it was, but it was big boy cards. I can never afford them, but I like to see them. I love to look at them, especially those Cracker Jacks. I would love to get a nice Cracker. I'll probably have to get a 1 or something like that. But
most of them you find are probably going to be ones.
Right,
those things are so paper thin.
Right, but
and they came in Cracker Jacks, for God's sake.
Right, and and
I know. Before everybody comments, I know you can mail in for the 15s. I know.
Right. Okay. The statement about SGC and stuff with them. I know you stay away from the grading and stuff mostly, but you do buy graded cards. Are you looking away from SGC because you don't know what tomorrow brings with them?
No, I could care less. No, I'm not.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, yeah.
In fact, I said on our live yesterday with Rick, I think in the future, you're going to see people collecting slabs. And I don't mean it like a smart-ass comment that I always say we collect plastic now, which we do. But right. I think there are going to be people that collect certain era of slabs. Because grading has become a cult. And in the future, it might be really cool. I don't think young people are going to do this. I think older people are going to do this. I think older people will seek out older SGC slabs because let's face it, they're better at grading vintage cards. Now, for young people, if SGC goes by the wayside, I think they're going to view SGC the way they would view GAI or Beckett or any other company that used to be popular but isn't now. Because when they come in, if PSA is all there is, and that's the hot thing, that's what they're going to want. They're going to, no matter how good SGC is, and I know a lot of us older guys who love SGC, because when I did grade, that's who I graded with mostly. we think they're awesome, and we think everybody else should think they're awesome, and everybody in the future is going to think they're awesome. And I don't agree with that sentiment. I think somebody that starts collecting at age 21 or 19 and SGC is not the shit, they ain't going to become the shit to them. They're going to view them the same way a lot of us view GAI or SCD or even Beckett now. That's my opinion.
And Beckett is still loved by many. If you saw their line at the National, it was nuts.
But what was the average age group in line there?
It was probably 30 to 40 somethings.
Yeah,
I would think. SGC didn't have much going on over there. Every time I walked, they were back in the corner.
I don't think the young guys investing or making cards their business, or even collecting, even the young collector, I don't think they're sending into Beckett.
Right. Well, I'm sorry. Even I, who think we already are collecting the flips.
Yeah.
I think we're yeah. Even I know if I'm into selling now. I'm into getting rid of stuff and not hoarding everything that I've ever picked up in my life. So I know if a bigger card I want to have graded and sell, guess what? I'm going to PSA it because I want to get the most out of it.
Of course.
So, but I got a stack here that I just got back. I love getting these and slabbed in SGC. It's old. It's the Topps Living set with the rookie players in that old format. I
collect that set.
Oh, do you? Okay.
I stopped getting email notifications, so I missed a few, and I haven't bought one in a while. I know I missed a Paul Skeen, so I had to go on eBay and buy one.
Oh,
I never saw the notification. Yeah, I never saw the notification for it to come out. But I have a stack about this big of the Topps Living set.
Oh, so Daniel said, or Ty, in coin collecting, some of the old slabs are desirable.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, see, I know.
I'm willing to put money that people will collect slabs in the future because, I mean, it's just people are so into slabs, and now we can break them out by era based on the cert numbers, and I'll bet you anything there will be a narrative where people come out and say, well, this era of slab was the best graded, and that's the one you want.
Well, you're already hearing it. I'm already.
Because who would have thought 10 years ago that someday every card you got graded by PSA would be shit and not worth as much now? Like, who would have ever thought that would happen?
Right.
That's because it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and PSA can be caught just slapping a grade on. Well, they can be caught physically slapping any grade they want, and people still grade with them.
That's a whole other topic. We need another 2 hours.
Yeah. I mean, that is to me crazy. To me, but when you're in the hobby and you're trying to make you want to get the most so you can make some money, you got to play by their rules. But you guys will be happy. I at the National on Sunday, I flipped an Ohtani gold, numbered to 9, or graded 9, to three Clementes, and cash brought back home with me. So I had a good day on Sunday. So
you're not an Ohtani fan, or you just
I am.
You can get a lot for the card.
But I am a base rookie old school collector.
Me too.
I have his base rookie graded, and I think I have an auto baseball that's numbered to 5, autographed baseball.
Yeah.
So I'm good with Ohtani. I don't need 100 Ohtanis.
Right. Yeah, that's the other thing with modern cards is you could have 5,000 rookie Ohtani. When the autographed rookie cards when they started to become worth 100 times the other rookies, I remember being surprised by that. Like, what is people's fascination with these autos who in many instances, their families are signing it or something? I've never, I guess because I'm not that much into an auto. I'm with you. I'd rather just have a rookie card. I don't
Right.
need all that scribbling all over it.
Yeah, I do. Well, I do collect autos, but I don't necessarily need the rookie auto.
Yeah.
Because to me, it's supposed to be the same DNA on all of it.
Yeah, but my rookie cards just aren't going to be worth as much as other people's because
right.
they're not. I do have some. I have an Aaron Judge autographed rookie, and I have an Ohtani second-year heritage I pulled from a blaster box, believe it or not.
Right.
I couldn't believe it. That's like the only thing I pulled in recent years, but it's a good one.
Right.
So I'm grateful. But yeah, I the other thing is some of these cards that sell for a lot of money. I mean, the only reason I would want them is because they sell for a lot of money. Like I don't think they're nice cards. They're not cards I would even want. But they might sell for 400,000 or 30,000 or 70,000 or whatever, and they're not even cards that I would chase for for any amount of money.
Yeah.
The only reason I would want them is because people are paying that for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I like to have of the big players the rookie card and auto, and that's all I really need, unless there's somebody that for whatever reason I really start to follow, like Pete Alonso, that play on my Mets.
I like Pete Alonso.
Yeah, and I
bought up a bunch of his rookie cards back in 2019.
So I'm working on his 2019 Rainbow. So you hit close to my heart in your video.
All right,
really
we made up.
Yeah, I've come close. I need like one more.
Scott, I have to tell you, I don't want you mad at me because I've seen you in person at the National a few times, and if you bear hugged me, I would die.
I am not. I don't get mad over it. To me, this is important because of my passion outside. But let's be real, it doesn't generate my income. It doesn't do anything with my family. So this is just purely fun for me, and YouTube is part of it. And I didn't tell you, I didn't get triggered other than we're still talking, and we're gonna keep talking about it. It's one of those things that's not gonna go away. I wish it would, because to me, I didn't even know it was a thing until 2 years ago. Ed had to bring it to my attention.
I think it's gotten better. In all fairness, I think it's gotten better. Number one, I think the vintage collectors have calmed down and accepted the way the modern hobby is more so than 2 years ago. When it was first happening, it was hard for a lot of us to understand what was going on because it's so opposite of the way we always did it and the way it always was. And I think a lot of modern collectors are getting into vintage now because they're realizing they could sell to a bunch of old people with big 401ks that are willing to pay tens of thousands of dollars for those old pieces of cardboard.
Right.
And you see a lot more younger people and a lot more investors and flippers and whatever you want to call them getting into vintage now.
You can call them investors. It's one of those terms. It's like I know what it means and I know how we use it. It's kind of it's just
I mean, if you think about it, a dealer invests in cards, right? He buys them at a certain, he flips them. It's all the same thing. And I don't think, and here's the other thing that I think is a fake divide. I don't think the divide was, and I saw Filmington and Teapot and those guys. I just was watching a video. Are you evil if you sell cards?
Yeah,
that is so over the freaking top.
Yeah.
Like you're never allowed to sell a card or you're not a collector. That's absurd.
Well,
nobody thought that. Nobody ever thought that.
Right.
That you can never ever sell a card or you're not a collector.
So
it's just absurd.
The first time I ever heard, when I bought my Gretzky rookie, I don't know, 4 years ago or whatever, the first Chicago after COVID, I bought a Gretzky rookie. I remember showing it to somebody I respect, and he goes, "Is this the first one you've owned?" Yeah, because to me, I don't buy, sell. When I buy something that means something to me, it's mine. It's on display. I don't buy them I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy in the hobby. So.
Well, there's a difference between, I mean, if you want to be a dealer, you're buying to sell. But if you're a collector, there may be times where you sell. I mean, I used to sell off my doubles when I didn't have a lot of money so I could buy other cards, or trade doubles. I traded a double at the National so to help me get into a card because it had good value.
Yeah, and
If
people
you
take
hanging
it.
on to every double you ever have doesn't
Right.
make you more of a true collector than somebody that trades or sells their doubles. I mean, the basis of the hobby, me growing up, was you traded or sold your doubles. That's what you did,
Right.
so that you could get other cards you needed for that set or whatever.
Right.
I
Yeah,
mean, that
because
was a big part. We would flip too. Is that gambling? We gambled because we used to flip cards.
yeah, yeah. I don't think they know what that is now.
Nah,
We
no,
flip
it has
we
a
flip
whole new meaning
cards.
now.
Yeah, that's right. That's you got to watch how you gotta make the
Yeah, I had made a short. I had made a short, and I said, "This is how we used to flip cards," and
yeah,
I flipped it, because we
yeah,
used to do odd or even, where we'd line them up and throw them like a frisbee, and
yeah.
all the cards you knocked down, you got to keep.
And then we wonder why all of our
Those were
corners,
great for the corners.
yeah, all the corners, everything's screwed up on them. I did put them in spokes, but they we used to use them we make our baseball teams in the floor. We had a baseball game we would play, so we were rough with them too then. But it was one of I just think like Rick said, we're both collectors. At the end of the day, I think that's what. And I think if everybody just took, because it doesn't matter what you collect, what the year says on the back of the card, whatever. We're all collecting cards, man, and just love it for what it is, and love each other's hobby for what it is. That's why I watch. I like to watch videos of guys like you because you're going to show, and Rick, because you're going to show stuff that I'm not going to purchase, but I want to see those cards because how else am I going to see those cards?
Yeah,
Not
well,
in my-
I say
they're
all the
not in
time.
my- right.
I say all the time, if you are a flipper or investor or seller of cards, you should watch collector channels because you're going to learn about cards that people, older guys with a lot of money want. You're going to learn about the history of the cards, which ones are rare, which ones are desirable. You're going to learn about your customers. And why wouldn't you want to know everything you can know about cards if you're selling to people? That's your business. I know for my business, I would read obsessively, and be on top of all the news and know everything I can know about my realm, right?
Right.
So if I'm a card seller, I should want to see, learn about these cards and see collectors. Not saying to watch every one, but you can learn a lot from a bunch of old guys that have been doing it for a very long time and know a lot about the card sets and so forth.
Yeah. But yeah, it was one, the last, it's just, everybody just accept how each other hobbies and that way we don't have to make excuses on why we hobby the way we do.
Yeah, well,
As I caught myself telling somebody that what I did, I flipped a card. Like I felt like I had to make a justification why I sold a card to buy other cards. You catch yourself right now being defensive when you should not be defensive.
I can understand that. And I think, I've said it before many times. When you see somebody showing you a card and they're like, well, it's a 3 and this is why it's a 3. And they point out every flaw the card has. And I think it's the same thing you're saying. It's like they feel the need to justify it, why they have a lower graded card. They want to tell you how they love it and everything. Because I think they're trying, there's so many, everybody's into these numbers on flips nowadays that they almost feel like they have to justify why they bought a 3.
Right.
Me, I just show the card. If you don't like a 3, don't watch. I don't care. I could care less what that number is. And
I tell you straight up, I buy a 3 because it's what I can afford.
I say I don't like grading. And getting back to a little bit to our other topic, yeah. I don't like grading. So that's my opinion. I'm not telling you not to like grading. I'm not telling you. I say what I feel. But, that triggers people. Because if you say you don't like grading and somebody does like grading, they'll be like, why are you telling me what to do? Or they come at me. And I've had to block so many people because they want to engage in some sort of stupid argument with me because I bought a 7 and they thought I should buy a higher grade. It's like, why are you telling me? I don't care about the number. And then I'll tell them I don't care about the number. And they come back and tell me why I should care and this and that. And so it works both ways. I mean, we should all be allowed to state our opinions. I love to listen to people's opinions, even if they differ from mine.
Right.
I don't get all triggered by it. I'm not. I'm
That's-
not saying. I'm not. I'm not.
But
Saying
that's
you.
in my name. I should
I'm
say
saying
that's
no.
in
I'm
my
saying
name.
some of the people that leave me hate comments.
That's my German background. If I do German, it'll be more forceful. But I just and I come with it with love. Imagine that. That's the fun part of it. It's like, when I see these videos, especially if I know the person, I don't get mad at the person. I know what the topic's coming from now, and the topic to me is, it's sad that we even have that topic. I don't even understand why it came about. I do understand. I got to watch how I use that term. It's sad that we have that topic.
I agree with you there. I agree with you there.
And let me tell you, I've always said that I feel like that grading is the greatest inside joke that we have in the hobby. And now I'm part of it. I'm in on the joke. And I've said that since, because when my first national, guy showed me a Harper. So I was wearing national stuff. And he said, there's only 4 of these in population. And I said, what do you mean? Because I didn't grade at the time. I thought it was a joke. I thought grading, and I still kind of do, but I'm in on it. I said, I have that card at home. So I know there's more than 4 in population. And the guy just looked at me, and I walked away.
Yeah. Grading is like a strip club. Guys will go to a strip club. They'll fall in love with one of them, and she'll be all over you, and you think you actually have a freaking connection with her, right? You're somebody special. You had a connection with her, and that's how grading lures you in.
I thought you said I would go home disappointed.
Many times that too. That you can take that a step further, but it's all a facade.
Right.
It's all a facade.
I have to explain why I got glitter on me.
They seduce you and pull you in, and you give them all your money.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, they don't care. They don't care about you. They care less about you.
Yes. Right.
Both PSA and the strip club.
Yeah. That's well said. Well, I think we got as clear as mud tonight.
Hey Scott, how wonderful is it? Like, we wouldn't even know each other if it wasn't for YouTube and collecting, and we could come on here and we could talk about cards, and somebody got something from what we said or decided to unsubscribe us or whatever. I mean, this is hobby talk. It might not, like it or not, it's hobby talk. This is part of hobby.
I'm sorry. I've always been in. You can't have peace without war, and we got to have a little heat. And maybe people would think, "Why are you fighting over cards?" We're not fighting to begin with. It's just we want to get on the same page where everybody understands.
I enjoy debating. Right. I'm happy to always do it.
Right. And I just my thing is, like, I gotta watch my words and be careful, because I don't want to be the bad guy, the asshole.
Well, listen,
the bad guy's a bad term. I'm okay with being a bad guy. I'll be raising Ramon all day long.
You're not a bad guy. The thing is when you have a passion for something, it comes out like this. When somebody says something you disagree with, because you have a passion for it, it's going to affect you. It's no different than people that watch the news at night. Depending on what side you're on, you can get triggered in 2 seconds by moving to the other channel.
Right.
That's not on your side, right?
Right.
And the hobby should not be that. It should not be politics. It should not be the media. It should be, we should all come together and enjoy this wonderful hobby we're all in.
Yes.
But it's okay to have disagreements. It's okay to hash things out. It's okay to share ideas. That's okay.
Yeah. Next thing, we'll talk about other things later, but I'm glad you came on. I really do appreciate you coming on tonight.
Absolutely.
I did start watching y'all's live today a little bit on the grading. I didn't get far into it because I had football to watch, and me and my dad started our thing today. So little throw out tomorrow that'll be released, talking about baseball, and my dad talks about aliens. So he's 73 or 79. Yeah, my dad's 79. I let him talk about whatever he wants.
I love talking aliens.
He likes
ancient aliens is one of my
That's
favorite.
what he was talking about. My dad said, "How does ancient aliens come down and teach people how to build pyramids, but they don't? But they leave, and you still got to rub two sticks together to get fire because it doesn't make any sense." But I like.
But neither does a pyramid being built by primitive people,
right? The Rick
and having the same style all over the world,
right?
That's. Anyway, that's another topic.
Yeah, unfortunately, many modern collectors get thrown blame for how the hobby is. Yeah, and I mean,
I have to say, in all fairness to some people when they're talking about modern, they mean the modern hobby. They don't mean the modern hobby participants.
That's a good point. Very good point.
They mean like the shenanigans they see on Whatnot and scammers, and eBay's become a cesspool.
Whatnot's another.
I mean, today I just saw 2 videos where there's people selling fake cards on eBay that they're pawning off as real ones, like 1968. They're clear, like if you look at the back, they're clearly fakes, but they're getting over on people. And eBay, they have this authentication that they want to protect you, but they allow this shit all over there, like all over there. Reprints, newspaper cutouts, all this stuff. So I think they talk about the modern hobby, and then a lot of people, and you have to understand, a lot of us, we went through the first overproduction era, and it didn't end so well. And a lot of people were like, "Wow, here we go again. They're producing 12 million sets a year, 12 million cards a year, 5,000 rookie cards of every player."
I agree on that, but I don't care as long as I get what I want. I don't care, and they can print. They printed it. See, the 90s is where I was in my 20-somethings, and I was going to let everybody go, but hold on. I was in my 20-somethings, and I partied a lot. And that's why I say the 90s was a hell of a decade. So Thursday night through Sunday night was a blur to me a lot of weekends, and with me and my friends. And so the cards were kind of, I still collected. Everywhere I moved, I had a stack of cards in my closet that I just open up a pack, look at them, and stick them up in my closet. So I always had these stacks of cards in my closet, and they just got put in a box when I moved to the next place. So I didn't collect a lot, but I did collect. So I always say I got my 90s collection is like my brain. I got a lot of holes in it.
Well, the 90s, like I had stopped in around 90, like end of 91, I think, and picked it back up in 2001. Same, life takes you other directions and so forth. And so I always say the 90s, that period is my blind spot.
Yeah.
All these inserts are in high demand. Some of them are worth a lot of money. And people are collecting them. And I'm looking at these, I'm watching these videos, and I don't even know what I'm looking at. Like, that is my true blind spot. That's another era you won't hear me talking about because I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I've been learning about the 90s inserts just like you, because where I was at, I didn't have a LCS. All I had was a 7-Eleven, so I had to get what they had basically until Target and all those came to town. Then I started making good money later on, but Stadium Club. I was still living at home when Stadium Club started, so I could buy that. But
I'll tell you, for me, go ahead.
For me, the 90s was the difference between now and the 90s was innovation came in the 90s with that junk wax era. Right now, we're getting no innovation, nothing. It's the same thing year after year, where they change a block or two on the front of the card. And that's why I understand when people get fed up with ultra modern, because give me something new, right? Give me something that I haven't seen. Do something, knock my socks off, and we don't get anything. We don't even get close. They don't try nothing. We don't get a die cut. It's over for that.
You know, that leads into what I was about to say, which was I as a pure collecting, you know, I didn't have YouTube back then, so that's enhanced my collecting. So all things are not equal, but true collecting, the early 2000s, I think was the best era, man.
Mhm.
It was when we had the innovation of the all the patch and autos coming out, and it was really good. They were really good ones, and you get great players, and you had grading if you wanted it. Cards were worth something, so if you wanted to sell them, you could sell cards to buy new ones. Um, but yet they were cheap enough that you know most cards were attainable aside from the grails that are still there today, the grails. But you know, it was just a wonderful time. I thought to be a collector, I had access to everything through eBay, and you still had some card stores. I still had a card store in my area. In fact, I had two. Um, I just thought it was a wonderful time with all the innovation of the new cards and everything coming out. There was a lot of excitement, and like I said, it was an affordable hobby. I used to get boxes all the time to open. They came out with golf cards, and so I was opening. Man, I was opening boxes of those, and the products were really cool. And they had all the retro products, the Upper Deck Vintage, and the Heritage, and all those, and the T206, and the Bowman Heritage, and all that stuff. The play balls with the Joe DiMaggio, you know, inserts. I mean, it was a fun time to collect. It's still, I think, the best time in my experience for me.
Yeah, I'm just glad that, as you said, you know, because of YouTube and the hobby, me and you know each other. I always talk about my Rolodex. I can reach out, ask questions.
Absolutely, and I watch you every Sunday night.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Well, you see me in the comments, right?
That's right.
Carlos is always there.
Yeah,
Eric, those back pages is always there.
Yeah. So I feel, man, this hobby probably saved my life. And I'm not bullshitting. And B, the community really helped me focus in on what I needed this hobby to be for me. Not for you, not for this guy, that guy, for me. And it let me say it's okay to hobby the way I wanted a hobby. Yeah. And that's what's beautiful about it. And I really want to end on a high note tonight. And, you know, or is there other bullshit can always be there? Yes. And let's have fun with that bullshit.
You know, everything in life is what you make of it.
Right.
You know?
That's true. That's 100%. And, you know, the hobby's not hurting. We learned that at the National and any other show that you go to. Like I said, I went to a great show this Saturday. I didn't even complain about the strollers. I was so happy. It was that good of a show, and had a lot of fun. So I want to thank, I keep getting subscribers trickling in. I really appreciate y'all. You know, I hope, you know, leave comments and let me know. And on my About page is ways to contact me if you ever want to reach out. And until next time, like, share, do all the YouTube things, and I will see you. And you can catch, if you're not one person on here, I think everybody watches Mangini Collection. You can collect his @ in my title, and it'll get you to him. So until next time, see ya.
Thanks, Scott.